On a rainy Saturday night in Rhode Island, it's Rhode Island playing host to FC Tulsa. Tonight's match presented by Rhode Island Energy. I'm Michael Watreng, joined by former Guyana midfielder Chris Nurse. Great to have you with us. Two teams straddling the playoff line in desperate need of a good result here tonight. Here's the East. Rhode Island, after that tremendous run of form over a 2-month window, has now sat into a tie for 7th, with Pittsburgh, Hartford, North Carolina all looming below them in the East. As we look at this group, for Rhode Island, Noah Fuson leads the team in assists this season. This is a group that needs to find a way to score more goals.
Yeah, Fuson has been very important for this team. He's tenacious, he can create, he can score goals himself, he defends for the front. He's been a vital part of the attack for this team. It's going to be very important for him tonight and going into these last 6 games of the season to be at his very best.
Rhode Island has been shut out in back-to-back matches since August 31st, a 2-0 win against Birmingham. Meanwhile, in the Western Conference, FC Tulsa is tied for 8th, but sitting below the playoff line at this point. San Antonio's right there. Monterey Bay is in the picture as well. So it is a desperate time. The good thing for Tulsa is they still do have some matches above Monterey Bay at this point in the year. They have a lot of young players up top. Aaron B. Boot was a great goal scorer in MLS Next Pro. Only 1 so far for FC Tulsa.
Yeah, and this is where they're going to really need to improve going into this final stage. As you can see, he only has 1 goal. He's going to have to increase his output. He gets on the score sheet here with help from a little bit of a deflection, but they're going to need their strikers, the players who get the big money in front of goal, to start performing if they're going to creep into that final playoffs position.
FC Tulsa has more points on the road this year than they do at home. Rhode Island is unbeaten in their last 6 on the home pitch. What gives tonight in a critical East versus West matchup? Rhode Island and FC Tulsa coming up next.
At Ortho Rhode Island, we've built the future of orthopedic care around an important foundation: you. Our experienced surgeons and specialists offer the full spectrum of orthopedic care with leading-edge treatments and technology and a one-of-a-kind patient experience. From diagnosis to outpatient surgery, physical and occupational therapy, acute injury care, and advanced imaging, we make you the cornerstone of innovative care. To learn more or schedule an appointment, visit orthopedicsri.com.
Hey Providence, we're Breeze Airways, and we offer non-stop flights from Rhode Island's T.F. Green International Airport. We're redefining what it means to fly up front. This one's for you. Introducing Breeze Ascent, the newest, nicest way to fly. It's seriously comfortable, satisfying, and affordable. Book today at flybreeze.com and experience the nicest way to travel. Breeze Airways, seriously nice.
At Centerville Bank, we're rooting for your progress. From the everyday moments to the challenges you overcome, the little victories, and the big wins. Because your progress is our purpose. Centerville Bank, progress on purpose.
History is made in Rhode Island.
Congratulations, Rhode Island FC, for achieving the dream and making this a reality.
Rhode Island FC, the Ocean State's only professional soccer team, has kicked off its historic inaugural season.
This is going to be a spectacle to enjoy.
Rhode Island on the board!
Family 4-packs are now available starting at just $20 per person. Don't miss your chance to be a part of the action. Get your tickets today.
The future is bright for Rhode Island FC.
There's no escaping the rain here this evening at Burns Stadium in Rhode Island. First ever meeting between Rhode Island and FC Tulsa. Tonight's match presented by Rhode Island Energy. Michael and Chris back with you as we get ready for kickoff and take a look at the starting 11 for Rhode Island. Albert Deke, the team's leading goal scorer, will come off the bench tonight, but J.J. Williams will step into his stead. He's the last man to score for Rhode Island.
Yeah, and there's a lot of flexibility in this formation for Rhode Island, whether in a 4-3-3 formation, whether in a 4-3-2-1 formation, or whether they're in a 3-4-3. I think the danger for them comes on the left-hand side with Quizera. When they play with 3 at the back, he seems to be a little bit more withdrawn. When they play with 4 at the back, he finds himself a little bit higher, but as we highlighted, Fusion is the guy to watch on this team. He's able to create, score goals, tenacious, defense from the front, has a big impact. Also, Herivo returning to the lineup tonight for the first time in a little while.
As is Koke Vegas, out last week with a personal family matter. And then FC Tulsa, they look like this here this evening. Milo Yosef back after missing last week's match.
Yeah, and as you highlighted, Mike, this is a team that only scores 1 goal consistently in games, and that's not really going to be enough for them to get across the line at this phase of the playoffs. They're just sitting outside of the playoff positions right now. It's a big game for tonight. My money's on Rhode Island to win tonight, but Tulsa could prove to be an upset. But if Rhode Island are really going to be serious in the playoffs, this is a game that we expect them to win.
Tulsa haven't scored multiple matches in 38 days. But they come on the road where they've won 4 of their 7 matches overall for the season. There's the leader, Bradley Bourgeois, in the white and patina green tops for FC Tulsa tonight. Meanwhile, it's the navy and yellows for Rhode Island here this evening. Great to have you with us tonight here in Smithfield, Rhode Island. Our official is Adam Kilpatrick. He blows the whistle, and the wheels are in motion here this evening. Rhode Island and FC Tulsa for the first time ever here tonight.
Always interesting to see the approach from the teams at the beginning. You could already see Bourgeois trying to get his team pumped up and amped for this game. There's a lot at stake for them if they're going to keep themselves in the playoff hunt. They've got to pick up 3 points because right now they're just outside. But the stakes are just as high for Rhode Island. It's so tight between who's in and outside of the playoffs that 3 points is a must for them to really go on and secure their spot, given the teams that they have coming in their remaining fixtures after tonight.
Rhode Island, 13 draws this year. In fact, they're the only team above the playoff line in the East with single-digit wins still. They have just 8 on the year, but those draws have allowed them to get enough points to get above the playoff line. The question will be, in their final 6 matches of the year, can they get victories and the full complement of points to separate themselves from the bottom of the playoff line?
Yeah, I think in contrast to their past 2 games where they've been outscored 3-0 earlier in the season, if they weren't winning games, they were still finding a way to tie and pick up a point, which is kind of allowing them to still plod along. I think those 2 defeats, especially the one last week against Orange County, which I would say was a little bit unlucky, a little bit undeserved given the chances that they created. It's not like they performed poorly. They just didn't score the chances that they created. So I still think they're very strong contenders to secure a spot in the playoffs. They just have to find a way to pick up points at the business end of the season. As much as it's about performance, it's about being resilient and picking up points and continue to climb the table.
Zera's throw in, and it did go out of play off of Tulsa, so a throw for Rhode Island deep in this corner. It's kids' night here at the park, and it was a sold-out crowd, and they continue to file in. You got to pick your parts when it's raining like this, knowing that you're going to be out here for 2 hours.
I did have to say I was highly shocked that Rhode Island lost to Orange County. I think they've been poor for large chunks of this season, but when you reflect on the game, you go and look back and you see the chances created. It was just one of those nights where the ball was just not finding its way into the back of the net.
It was a dominating performance in terms of shots. They had 18 of them overall in the match. Hit the woodwork once.
Some big saves from Shuttler also.
Yeah, Bryce Jamison had the lone goal in that match out. A little bit exposed was Rhode Island in that sequence. The benefit for tonight is it is a field turf field. I know a lot of players don't like to play on that, but it beats the grass, and on a night like tonight where it's been raining pretty much all day and will rain the rest of the evening.
The one thing that does, of course, is makes the surface a little bit slicker, so the speed of play is a little bit faster than it would be. When the turf is dry and it's hot, the ball doesn't move as quick, it slows down the speed of play, and especially the temperature. But now with it being a little bit cooler, the field being slick, the ball actually moves faster when it's wet on turf than it does when it's on grass. I expect the game to be a little bit quicker and a bit more aggressive tonight.
Temperatures are in the mid-50s at kickoff. You can see several players wearing the long sleeves. Here's Johan Penaranda. Boy, he's been great since he came to FC Tulsa from Northern Colorado. Now Aaron Beboot, one of the players we highlighted at the outset of this. Speaking with Mario Sanchez, this is a very youthful front portion of the team, but they had Philip Goodrum. They didn't expect a lot of these players to feature. They picked up Beboot late in the season. There wasn't that expectations on him at first, but they made the move. And now these players are having to get a lot of minutes.
I sometimes approach that youthful conversation with a little bit of apprehension, because obviously you're in a league where the competition, the objective is to win. And if you're putting young players in, it's because they're good enough. It's not because you're just providing them experience or exposure. It's because you think that they can go in there and do the job with an expectation to win. I know we were talking earlier, and some of Cano Smith's highest performers or players that have the most minutes are 23, 24 years old. So they also have a very young team, but the purpose, the momentum, the objective at the end of it is to win games and not just provide playing opportunities for young players. Is to go out there, win, and bring trophies back for the fans. So irrespective of the age, we still expect the same objective when they step onto the field of play.
And for Rhode Island too, Jack Panayotou is one of the younger players in this league overall. He continues to be a starting and key fixture for Cano Smith's group. Williams was trying to get it out wide to Panayotou. Ends up out of play. Time to take a look at our health report tonight, presented by Ortho Rhode Island, the official orthopedic partner and team physicians of RIFC. Learn more at orthopedicsri.com. Isaac King and Morris Duggan out this evening. Lower body injuries for Rhode Island. Meanwhile, the consistent players are out still. Angel Bernal and Camilo Ponce. And one player not on the health report because he's on yellow card accumulation. Harvey St. Clair is out tonight as well. That's one of their key defensive fixtures for FC Tulsa. Here is Stefan Stojanovic, 23 years of age, grew up in Chicago. Like several of these Tulsa attackers, spent some time in MLS Next Pro and now in their first season in the championship.
And I think we've seen there's definitely a step from MLS Next Pro to the championship. That some of the success that players maybe had in MLS Next Pro is taking them a little bit of time to hit the ground running in the same way in the USL Championship. Given that you're now competing against men, the objective is not so much development, it's about going out there and winning games and trophies. And that was the point I was alluding to with young players. Sometimes when teams find themselves in the lower ends of the table, or they find themselves in and outside of the player positions, we hear the comment about younger players a little bit more frequently than when they're at the top and giving players time. But for me, it's all about if you're good enough, you're old enough. It's not a case of being a young player. It's just a case of maybe you're a little bit less experienced than some of the senior players, but you're still a very talented player and you're capable of going out there and competing at this level.
And to that point, I think about the league. Lou City starting keeper Damian Loss, MLS Next Pro, comes first year in USL Championship. MD Myers has not skipped a beat. He's with Charleston. And of course, Noah Fuson in his first year in the championship. 4 goals and a team leading 6 assists for Rhode Island. So, as you said, some of these players, they don't take a lot of time to make that transition here to the championship.
And it was interesting because Andy Myers spoke about leaving MLS Next Pro and coming to USL Championship and his purpose for that. He said he felt that the MLS Next Pro was still a little bit youthful in its approach, and he wanted to compete and challenge himself against men at a higher standard. So interesting to hear his aspirations.
Here's Aaron Beboot. Beboot clips this ball over the top. What a fantastic finish that is. Speaking of MLS Next Pro to the USL Championship, it's the 20-year-old from Cameroon putting the visitors out in front, 1-0.
And he only had 1 goal before this game, but this goal may as well count for 3. What a first touch. And then the second touch, to see the keeper of his line and just guide it into the top corner is absolutely unbelievable here from Beboot. What a finish. Puts his team up on the road against Rhode Island in a must-win game to keep their playoff hopes alive. What a start to the game for Tulsa.
Rhode Island had only given up 1 goal in the opening 20 minutes of a match all year long. It's the first time since April 26th they give up 1 in the opening 20. It's the second fastest goal they've conceded this year. And Aaron Beboot, who Mario Sanchez said that MLS Next Pro is too easy for him. He would go through lulls in that one where he knew that he could turn the heat up a notch whenever he wanted to. Feels like he has a good chance of playing in Europe sooner than later. And you talk about a player that very easily could be the difference for this team between a postseason spot or not. and one of the best scorers in Next Pro history opens the scoring here tonight.
Yeah, and this is one of the challenges we posed to him at the beginning of this game, is that Tulsa needed a better output from their strikers. On his first opportunity, he's buried the ball in the back of the net. The Rhode Island defense caught sleeping and just allowed him the time and space to control it and pick his corner. And unfortunately, Koke Vegas was going to get nowhere near that attempt. You could say he was a little bit far off his line, but it's still a great finish from Bibu.
For a team that struggled to score goals, they hit the net first. Bibu juggles. Andrew Booth rewinds.
Now it's all about character from Rhode Island. They know they have to dig deep. Their remaining fixtures have Tampa Bay Rowdies, they have Charleston, they have some of the teams, top teams to come against in the remaining fixtures. This, on paper, would be one of their easier games in the remaining games that they have.
Here's a long shot from Batash. And Koke Vegas gets paws on that one.
And it's in a similar area where Bibu got his strike off. They're just not doing a good job right now of closing players down quick enough, just in front of that back three, back four, to stop them getting shots off on target.
This season, Rhode Island, 1 win, 5 losses, 4 draws when conceding first. It's an early start here for FC Tulsa, a team that has the 5th fewest goals in the league entering the night. They've now scored 6 times in the opening quarter hour of matches for the year.
I think if there's one thing to highlight is that, as we mentioned pre-game, Tulsa haven't scored multiple goals in a game for a long period of time. You can guarantee at some point Rhode Island will get themselves on the score sheet. So in order to really pick up 3 points in this game, Tulsa are going to have to break that curse that they currently have and be able to score multiple goals away from home, because we know that Rhode Island have the potential. At some point they will get themselves on the score sheet in this game.
Rhode Island FC is now accepting priority deposits for the 2025 season at their new stadium. Scan the QR code or go to rhodeislandfc.com to secure your seat today. We'll have an update on the new stadium at halftime. You want to stick with us? Beautiful sight that will be, and it looks great even now. The stadium at Tidewater Landing, 10,500 people will be able to fill that stadium once it's finished for the start of next year.
And what better momentum to take into that new stadium than to make your playoffs in your first year in existence. I think being able to provide that for the fans, that energy, that enthusiasm, that success, because you know that success is contagious. They've sold out tonight, obviously the rain having a little bit of an impact on that attendance, but if they can sell out here, imagine if they're able to make the playoffs and take that momentum into next year.
Excuse me.
Throw in here for Tulsa. Owen Dobb. It's a return pass. A chance to recycle with Bourgeois. Patrick Segrist. A team that had only scored 3 goals in the last 6 matches. They've been shut out 3 times in that stretch. It's the opener here tonight. But the question will always be for Tulsa, can they get more? Mario Sanchez talking about that with us this week. He knows that goal scoring is at a premium, but understands that transitional moments might be the key tonight.
And it was really interesting to listening to him talk about, he speaks about the mentality of the players a lot, allowing them time to rest and recover. He said physically everybody's fit at this stage of the season. We don't need to challenge the players physically. What we need to do is keep them mentally and physically feeling fresh, and how after today's game they plan to give them some times off, which is maybe contrast to some other coaches who spoke to, who use this time to tactically refine the way they want to play, the way they want to break opponents down, to kind of tweak into some of the minor nuances that you need at this phase of the season. So it's very interesting to see the balance of coaches just allowing players to have their own time and days off and to refresh, and coaches that are using the time to maybe lower the load and intensity of training, but maybe focus a little bit more on tactics where the intensity and the load is a little bit lower.
Bibu is fouled by Karifa Yao. And Yao is booked as well. Yellow card of the night goes on that foul in the middle of the field.
So a little bit of a lunging tackle there from Yao. Mario Sanchez highlighted that one of the areas that they've worked on in training this week was the defensive transition. Given that he feels Rhode Island is very good in transition from defense to attack, I think that Dikwa is obviously one of the strengths in that transition. Williams is a little bit different as a striker, but obviously with Quizera on the wings, with Fuse on who we highlighted, Dikwa when he's in the field, they are very strong in transition to attack Rhode Island.
Rhode Island enters having lost back-to-back matches for the first time all year. In their first 5 losses of the season, they followed it up with a win and 4 draws, so typically good at stopping the bleeding, but they trail early here at home. A quarter hour into this one, Aaron Beboot's second goal of the season for FC Tulsa in the 8th minute is the decisive tally at this point.
Definitely a contender for goal of the week, that strike for sure.
Batten. Benash. Now Dom. Dom lifts this ball in. It's bounced away and poked out to Booth.
It does look like Rhode Island are playing their 3-4-3 formation, and what that does, it pulls Quizera very deep. If you look at his position now, he's almost back as the left in a back 5, and it really takes away from his offensive attributes. He's so exceptional in 1v1 situations, especially when he's in the attacking third. When they play with the back 3, he finds himself a lot deeper and unable to influence the attack in the same way that he does when they're playing with the 4-2-3-1 formation.
Credit FC Tulsa too, they're holding on to possession and really forcing Rhode Island to do a lot more defending than they would like. Feel the heartbeat of Rhode Island FC with RIFC Pulse. Scan the QR code or text 401-249-4857 to stay in the loop on all things Rhode Island FC with text alerts.
Williams having to do a lot of running there for the number 9. It's going to be interesting to see how long he can sustain that. But we've just seen him press the right side centre back, the left side centre back, then sprint all the way across to press the right back. It's a lot of running for him to do, and then there's going to be moments when they do win possession of the ball and they need him to be up top where he can pin defenders. It's probably not going to be in those positions.
And Dom has that for a moment. Here's Quizera. Williams taps it. Panayotu. Williams. Quizera again. Charges forward. Quizera loops this ball around, and Bourgeois sends it away.
And there we get a glimpse of the threat and the danger that Quizera poses. He actually picks up this ball from deep. But you see his ability to drive with the ball, to connect with players, to make runs in behind. When he gets in those isolated situations, there's almost nobody can stop him 1v1.
Bourgeois, the team captain. A steady force with FC Tulsa. That moment, but it leads to our first corner kick of the night for Rhode Island, presented by the Hilp Group. Everybody lined up on the back post right now. And here comes this corner kick into the 18. Right back to where it started from. A second go, whipped around, and we get a foul whistled in the middle of the field, despite the cross from Mark Ibarra.
Bourgeois with a great defensive header on the first delivery into the box. The referee perceived there to be some type of infraction on the second one, but it's a great opportunity at the far post.
Zera. Fuson taps it. Panayotou. Fuson ricochets it around, tries to catch up to it, and Penaranda ships it out of play.
There's a great little first touch layoff from Williams there. While he's not going to have the same approach as Dika in terms of picking up the ball, running at players, making runs into the channels, he doesn't ever such a good job of just keeping the team in possession, link up play, laying the ball off for other players supporting him. Two different types of number 9s. But you can almost already picture, as the legs get tired as the game goes on, bringing on Dika in that second half once the defense is a little bit more tired for Tulsa, and his running now being able to have a bigger impact.
And availability of Dika and Doyle off the bench tonight. Perhaps the returns of Kofi Chumesi and Amos Shapiro-Thompson as well. Early injury here. Let's see Swahi motioning to the bench that perhaps a substitute might be needed at this point. Here's the Rhode Island contingent. Some brought the ponchos. They may be easing up just a little bit here tonight. It does look like we might have to get a change. Boubacar Diallo, the man summoned here. 20-year-old midfielder from Livingston, New Jersey. Milo Yosef, who tweaked his back in the Las Vegas match when Mario Sanchez said he was having his best performance of the year at that point. Had to miss last week's contest against Lou City. First half change will be made. And Edwin Lasso, 25-year-old Colombian, unable to continue here tonight.
22nd minute, leaving the match, number 17, Edwin Lasso. Entering the match, number 6, Boubacar Diallo.
Diallo back onto the field. Man that has played a good deal of minutes for Mario Sanchez this year. And it's probably a defensive situation. Deep throw in for Rhode Island. Trailing by a goal to none. Aaron Beboot's goal in the 8th minute, the difference. Michael Watring, Chris Nurse, and our team with you here. Good to have you on board for this matchup tonight here in Smithfield, Rhode Island on a rainy day. Zera.
A little bit of a shaky pass there from Vegas.
Not the case in the middle of the field. Panayotou.
Just mishits that pass, turns over possession. Does a good job to win it back.
Really good work. Aravo, the benefactor, now Panayotou. Drew Booth defends.
I like that mentality from Panayotou. He realized he was the one who made the mistake and was the first one to take accountability to go and try and win the ball back for his team.
Fuson. That was a timely touch from Ibarra with Stojanovic right behind him.
Yeah, you can see the surface is being that little bit more slick. It's just a couple of passes going astray, and Tulsa doing a good job of reading them.
USL Championship soccer continues on the ESPN networks in September with a matchup of the top teams from the Eastern Conference. Detroit City takes on Players Shield leader Lou City in a Sunday afternoon clash. That's September 22nd, tomorrow afternoon, 3 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. A collision and a foul. Frank Nodarse, 23-year-old.
Does well to anticipate an intercept here, but the ball just gets away from him a little bit. Booth, I think, does well to get his body in front of Nodarse. Just takes the contact and wins the free kick for his team.
Andrew Booth. Mario Sanchez called one of the most mentally stable pros that he's been around. B-Boot. Sawahi switches fields, but doesn't get enough on it. Bring this one back for a foul on Rhode Island. 25 minutes in, and Rhode Island haven't really gotten into any kind of rhythm.
Yeah, I think it's definitely fair to say that both these teams so far in these opening 25 minutes have kind of looked evenly matched from a talent perspective. Performance perspective, it's kind of been an even sparring match so far, with just that individual moment of brilliance from Bibu that's made the difference so far in this game.
Milo Yosef leaves it for Batash. Back post ball. And a foul is whistled on Andrew Booth. Not much in it. He pleads his case to Adam Kilpatrick.
Williams back there contributing defensively for Rhode Island, wins the header, but he actually sends it back into a pretty dangerous area. Ball bounces in and around the penalty spot, but free kick gets him out of trouble in that situation.
Booth. Diallo. Ibarra. Williams chests it over. Panayiotou. Ends up Quizera. Turns his attention forward. Two defenders converge. Chips this ball in. A poke. And a shot attempt from Holstad. It's knocked away. Stoneman launches another one in. And Williams is called for the foul here. Aggressively going through Sawahi's back.
Yeah, Williams all over the back of Sawahi there. But again, you see the danger and the threat coming from Quizera on this left-hand side of the field, taking players on, delivering balls into the box. They've got to keep finding the ball. He's the player with the magic in the feet that makes things happen. Williams does a good job of just making his presence felt as a number 9. Bourgeois and Sawahi always under pressure, always feeling his presence.
Follow at Rhode Island FC on Instagram, TikTok, X, and Facebook to stay up to date with everything RIFC. So I've had the better of the opportunities so far here tonight, and they have a lone goal to show for it as well. Rhode Island team that went a 2-month window where they were the best team in the league in terms of points accumulated. Lost back-to-back matches, being shut out in both. rest of the league right now. North Carolina has a 1-0 lead on Indy 11. Rafa Metzingen, 19th minute goal is the difference in that match. So when you put everything together now, at the Eastern Conference, Rhode Island 37 points, North Carolina up to 36 as it sits right now. Things getting tighter and tighter with each passing minute. Chases will not get there before Yosef. Yosef brings it back to the right foot, twists it around. Ibarra slings it away. Fuson chips through. Doesn't clear the area enough, though. Dom, the intended target, it's well past him. Meanwhile, good news for FC Tulsa. Oakland has fallen behind of Hartford 1-0. Meanwhile, every other game that they'll have to focus on will come later on tonight. So FC Tulsa would sit above the playoff line as it sits and tighten the gap on the 5 and 6 slots in the West. Shots are 3-2 in favor of Tulsa. Harivo fouls Dom, and Harivo is going to draw a yellow card for that infraction. He joins Karifa Yao with yellows.
Just a little bit late in this tackle, and I would say this has been consistent. Tulsa in this first half have just been 1 yard sharper to those second balls. When the balls bounced out, they've been the first ones proactive to react and go forward to it, which is a little bit surprising. Rhode Island being the home team in front of their home friends in their home stadium. Tulsa definitely came in with that little bit more surgence of energy and purpose. I think if there's one surprise we're looking at in the Western Conference is whether San Antonio FC will make a late push and find themselves in the playoffs. Phoenix Rising have done a little bit of a better job. They were outside of the playoffs early in the season. They right now find themselves in 8th position, with Tulsa jumping above them with this lead that they have right now. But San Antonio have been so strong for so many years. It's really a surprise to see them lagging right now, 2 points outside of the playoffs. But 2 points isn't a lot, and there's still at least 18 points left to play for.
San Antonio at Phoenix tonight at 10:30 Eastern. Yosef curls this ball into the middle of the box. Ricochets over, B-boot flops it into the air. Vegas punches it away. Quizera unable to funnel it through. Stojanovic pounces. And now Vegas will catch it with his paws to slow down this transition. This is an FC Tulsa team that entered the day one of 6 teams in the league with fewer than 100 shots on target. Their potency in the attack had not been something that had been well written, but they have had a stranglehold on the plot so far in this match.
Yeah, I would say if there's one thing, they definitely look determined. They definitely look like they're on a mission tonight. They definitely look very focused as a group, and I think we saw that from the first whistle. We talk about the energy of Bourgeois, the way he was looked focused on the game, the way he was pumping up his team. You know, this is a group that arrived here today with an intention to walk away with 3 points, and so far they're in a good position right now.
Darce hides this ball around. Here's Quizera. Charges forward against Dom. Quizera loops it back, hefty on the touch. Panayotu flies it back post, and Bourgeois heads it away. It's a corner kick here for Rhode Island.
Bourgeois is so important for the defense of this team. He's a rock there at the back for Tulsa. The bending ball here from Panayotu. You thought that this was going out of play. It actually found its way back towards the far post. It wasn't a bad delivery at all.
Panayotu indeed well head over there. He provided a cross in this moment. Both coaches emphasizing how critical restarts would be, not just in this match, but down the stretch of the season to try to get into the postseason. Panayotu boomerangs this ball in, and it skims off of the head of B-Boot. Rolls out of play. So now from the right sideline to the left sideline, Ibarra will take over this time.
It's a great delivery there from Panayotu. He misses the first man. He's into an area where the goalkeeper doesn't want to come and get it. It's probably too good a ball that even his own teammates couldn't arrive on the end of it.
So now it'll be Mark Ibarra, who Bob Lilly said was one of the big pieces that Rhode Island picked up from his Riverhound side. Ibarra slings this one in. A shove in the ground, a takeout, no whistle, curling ball, glides over the top of the woodwork. Pleas for penalties will not be heard.
The referee had a good look at the first one, he didn't blow. He had a good look at the second one, he didn't blow. The final shot just skims off the top of the crossbar. I think that's a collision of bodies here. Strong case for the second one. Almost took matters into their own hands with the final strike. Skims off the top of the crossbar, but you can say there's two respectable claims there. I don't think they're stretching by asking the referees to make those decisions, but the referee didn't seem there was enough in the contact to give a penalty kick.
Tulsa has given up 8 penalty kick opportunities this year. That's number 2 to Miami in the USL Championship for the year. So they are prone to giving away chances. Is that a moment that galvanizes this Rhode Island group here at home tonight? In front of a sellout crowd, Quizera has space, stampedes. Quizera doesn't get enough on it.
It's a good run, a good pass. Difficult angle to beat the goalkeeper from that distance. I think it would have to have been something special to beat Pararanda from that distance. He just doesn't connect with any great power on the strike, and much relief for Tulsa. They're getting caught in the counter-attack.
Watch the USL Championship in Spanish on 2DN, the nation's leading Spanish language sports network. Select matches, including the championship final, will be available in Spanish throughout the rest of the season. Go to uslchampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings. Minutes to go in this first half. Rhode Island has awoken. Just a little bit of a shift in the story now, trailing by a goal to nil in this first ever clash between these two organizations. Every point so critical from here on out. It's a winless skid of 4 in a row for Tulsa. Meanwhile, for Rhode Island, back-to-back losses for the first time all year after they had positioned themselves in a spot to perhaps host. Now they're in danger of falling out of the top 8 in the East.
I think one of the strengths for Rhode Island so far this season has been
Panayotou unwinds. Wide left.
It's been their strength of players coming in from the bench in the second half. We spoke about Dikwa being on the bench. We spoke about Doyle being on the bench. Players who can come in the second half and change the game. And that expectancy, or that luck, I wouldn't say luxury, but the strength and the depth of their roster is not something that every team in the league is able to boast. So I expect to see them utilize that at some point in the second half, because there's been numerous times this season where the substitutions who have come in on the bench have been able to come in and have a positive impact.
Connor Smith speaking about the fan base here in the Ocean State. They want their teams to have fight, spirit, never give up. It doesn't matter the result, as long as you showcase those qualities. They'll support you till the end. And this has very much been a resilient Rhode Island team all season long.
Connor Smith definitely knows about the fans in this region, being a long-time player with the New England Revolution.
Nadarce on the turn, it's Fuson. Fuson on the return pass. Booth gets just enough to get it away.
Great tackle there from Booth. Good intent there from Fuson with the 1-2, but Booth read it, timed it well, intercepted it, snuffed out any danger.
A takeout, a foul, and good position here for Rhode Island to make something happen.
While Rhode Island have turned the heat up a little bit in the last 5 minutes, Tulsa have defended fairly well. The possession, the combination play has been in favor of Rhode Island, but they haven't really threatened Pararanda with too much in front of the goal. We had the shot from distance from Quizera a few minutes ago, but besides that, it's been fairly comfortable so far in this first half.
Pararanda, the July 2024 Championship Player of the Month. First Tulsa player to win that honor. After signed on a short-term deal, was extended after that for the rest of the season. 24-year-old from Long Beach, New York. has been sturdy, steady, and strong.
Williams is always a target here from dead ball situations.
Panayotu boomerangs this ball. And Penaranda had his sights on it the entire way, clutches it. That is not a sign you want to see whatsoever if you're Mario Sanchez. Penaranda, who he calls a junkie.
Maybe just a little contact there with No Darcy. Nothing intentional, just looks like he collides him a little bit.
And we do have history at Patriots Point in the Low Country. Nick Marcanic just scored for the Battery to put Charleston out in front 2-0. He now sits alone atop the all-time single-season goal-scoring list. It's number 26 for Marcanic. Breaks a tie with Lou City's Cam Lancaster and Colorado Springs' Haji Berry for that tally, a man that has been on a mission all year long. And it's 2-0, Charleston out in front of Tampa Bay, and they try to gain that separation against the Rowdies and try to get back to the top of the table in the East.
And you imagine there's still a lot more goals to come from him, still 6 more regular season games, the playoffs. He could end up decimating that record.
FC Tulsa hopes somebody has at least a tepid type of run compared to Marcanic the rest of the way to push Tulsa into the postseason. Of course, Rhode Island has the reigning USL Championship Player of the Year, Albert Dequa, available off the bench tonight. Three-match mini plans are now available. Secure your seat to 3 of Rhode Island FC's biggest matches this season and get priority access to 2025 season tickets. Scan the QR code or go to RhodeIslandFC.com right now.
I think what's most incredible about Marcanic's goal scoring record is he managed to score all those goals from a winger. He's not your conventional number 9 who's just hanging around waiting for the opportunity to be created for him. He's operating as an inverted winger on the right-hand side, and he doesn't necessarily take all the penalty kicks and all the free kicks to get the extra goals that sometimes strikers get in those situations. So I think he's had a pretty incredible year, and obviously he's off to Europe at the end of the season. And we'll look forward to following him over there also.
Another in the lineage of USL Championship Golden Boot winners, and I have to imagine he's going to win it at this point. It's probably been locked up for a few weeks, if not months, for Marcanic, but Milan Olaski, of course, heading over as well in recent years. With a few minutes to go here in the first half, does Rhode Island have a response? Or will FC Tulsa head into the locker room leading it 1-0 on the road in this battle of 2 teams that were tight-roping the playoff line entering this one? Dom trickles it wide. B-Boot, he's been all over the park tonight, including the goal in the 8th minute. Scored against his former club, Detroit, in his 2nd match with FC Tulsa, and after missing some opportunities and seeing some get saved, he gets his 2nd here this evening. RIFC family 4-packs are now available. 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 drinks, and 4 times the fun for just $20 per person. Visit RhodeIslandFC.com/tickets to learn more. Joseph, Faisal Batash spot the ball, ready to lock and load. Not before a 2-man wall are forced to step back. Joseph high arcs this ball all the way around. Booth pokes it. It ricochets off of Williams in a corner kick that seemingly came out of nothing.
Tulsa be looking to get themselves on the score sheet for the 2nd time tonight. this corner kick just as we approach half-time.
Shots are even at 3 apiece. Tulsa with 2 on target, just 1 for Rhode Island. And that one shot from Ibarra in the 35th minute that just went over the top of the woodwork. Milo Yosef sends this ball in. Holstead heads it out. Corner kick this time will come from the opposite sideline. FC Tulsa has given up the 3rd most first half goals in the league this year, 23 of them. But with about a minute plus any stoppage time remaining, they sit on a shutout to this point. Here's this corner in. Vegas punches it away. Diallo back heels it. And clearance out of the mix.
Another dangerous delivery there that could have easily found its way into the back of the net.
Vegas comes out, swings that away. Offside flag is up. Another really fine service off of a corner, and Vegas alert to it.
Not sure anybody got a touch on it. May have found its way into the far corner had Vegas not been aware and punched it away.
Zera had to clear the final one. 4 minutes of first half stoppage time. So still time for a Rhode Island team that has made stoppage time goals a bit of a habit, most specifically in the second half. 7 of those in half 2. Maybe it's time for a first half strike.
Pretty evenly matched first half. 23 final third entries for Rhode Island, 21 for Tulsa. Tulsa winning the possession battle slightly with just 53%. And obviously they have the stat that means the most right now, leading the game 1-0.
Loose inside of the 18. Juggled around. Nadarse had it for a moment. Vegas is all the way out near midfield. Something he specialized in with San Diego. Yao whiffs on the header. Also scrambles to get this ball away. B-Boot, however, uses that large frame. Vegas. Stoneman goes behind him as formationally they get back into their spots. Ibarra, Vegas. Zera. Stafford, instead Dom. Cycles it. Way through first half stoppage time. Rhode Island's goalless drought extends. Last goal came in the 90th minute against Birmingham. Williams scored the second in a 2-0 win on August 31st. Zera. Touched Dom, it did not. Select, the official match ball supplier, the USL Championship, and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice.
Some strong tackles flying around in the closing stage of this first half.
Ultimately, we are going to get a card out of all this. Diallo is the first caution for FC Tulsa. And the substitute picks up the yellow.
That trailing leg was a little bit high. He does win the ball with a strong tackle, but definitely that trailing leg was in a dangerous position.
Wofford continues to lead Oakland. North Carolina continues to lead Indy 11. Here, it's Western Conference's FC Tulsa looking to get back above the playoff line. Out in front of Rhode Island thanks to Aaron Beboot's second goal of the season. Back in the 8th minute. Panayotu. Wizera swings it in. Williams' cross denied by Stojanovic. Second ball in, headed by Panayotu. And Panoranda grabs it.
No conviction in that header from Panayotu. Great ball into the box there from Williams. All he has to do is guide it into one of the corners and he just directs it straight into the goalkeeper's hands. Great opportunity to get the equalizer there just before the halftime whistle.
That is the halftime whistle. What do you think about how we saw these two sides perform in half one?
Rhode Island FC 0, FC Tulsa 1.
1-0. It is FC Tulsa leading it here at halftime in this first ever meeting. And with things being amplified down the stretch, Tulsa looking for its first win since August 24th. Rhode Island looking to snap a 2-match losing skid, and through 45 minutes, it's Aaron Beboot's 8th minute goal that has Tulsa out in front, 1-0. Well, it's been rainy all night, but it didn't stop Aaron Beboot from gliding one in from long distance on a great pass from Faisal Batash. 1-0, FC Tulsa has the advantage at the break. We'll look at the new stadium for Rhode Island and its progress when we return.
It's good. The Miller Lights win the Pregame.
You're right, Luke. Miller Lite is less filling and tastes great.
Wait, is this a dream?
No, Luke. This is a Miller Lite commercial.
When you make your play and things just go your way,
I won.
That's a good play.
Since 1974, the Rhode Island Lottery has been a good play, awarding more than $57 billion to winning players, over $6 billion in commissions to local businesses, and over $8.8 billion to the general fund, supporting all of Rhode Island.
It's a really good play that can make your day.
The Rhode Island Lottery, a good play for Rhode Island for 50 years and counting.
At Ortho Rhode Island, we've built the future of orthopedic care around an important foundation, you. Our experienced surgeons and specialists offer the full spectrum of orthopedic care with leading-edge treatments and technology and a one-of-a-kind patient experience. From diagnosis to outpatient surgery, physical and occupational therapy, acute injury care, and advanced imaging, we make you the cornerstone of innovative care. To learn more or schedule an appointment, visit orthopedicsri.com.
At Centerville Bank, we're rooting for your progress. From the everyday moments to the challenges you overcome, the little victories and the big wins. Because your progress is our purpose. Centerville Bank, progress on purpose.
It's good. The Miller Lights win the Pregame.
You're right, Luke. Miller Lite is less filling and tastes great.
Wait, is this a dream?
No, Luke. This is a Miller Lite commercial.
FC Tulsa leads Rhode Island on the road at halftime. It's 1-0 in favor of the visitors. Well, next year, the stadium will open at Tidewater Landing. Let's get an update on the 10,500 seat stadium in the Ocean State.
What's up, RAFC fans? It's your main man, Flanny, here with today's Stadium Scoop, where we're taking you behind the scenes at the stadium at Tidewater Landing for an in-depth look at the Platinum Club seats.
If you're looking for the most premium seats, look no further than Platinum Club seats. Enjoy plush, comfy chairs with extra leg room within close proximity to the Premium Club.
Platinum Club seats provide the most central viewing experience with unparalleled sight lines.
After making your way into the stadium through your very own VIP entrance, enjoy all-inclusive food and beverage as you sit directly along the midfield sideline. A limited number of Platinum Club seats are available, Act now and don't miss out on the historic 2025 season in the stadium at Tidewater Landing. For more information and to secure your spot in the new Stadium Priority Program, visit RhodeIslandFC.com today.
The stadium will open next year, and right now it is 1-0 in advantage of FC Tulsa. Halftime here in Rhode Island. When we return, we get you updated on everything going on in the USL.
Is it somebody's birthday? Dad, come watch us hit this ugly piñata. Dad!
When Hornets show up, so do we. Terminix it.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Goodrum pounds this ball, and the boys in purple soaring.
When mosquitoes show up, so do we. Terminix it.
Yeah, trick. I said what I said. I'd rather be famous instead.
History is made in Rhode Island.
Congratulations, Rhode Island FC, for achieving the dream and making this a reality.
Rhode Island FC, the Ocean State's only professional soccer team, has kicked off its historic inaugural season.
This is going to be a spectacle to enjoy.
Rhode Island on the board!
Family 4-packs are now available starting at just $20 per person. Don't miss your chance to be a part of the action. Get your tickets today.
The future is bright for Rhode Island FC.
These fans are winners of the Seriously Nice seat upgrade presented by Breeze Airways. Every match, 4 lucky fans are provided a premium match day experience courtesy of Breeze Airways, a proud partner of Rhode Island FC. Now with Tulsa leading 1-0 at halftime against Rhode Island, we look at the news and the notes from the USL Championship. We talked about Charleston 2-0 leading Tampa Bay. They become the second team to clinch a postseason berth earlier this week, presented by Terminix. Alex Tambakis, what a career it has been for him. The first place team in the West, New Mexico, and their goalkeeper, 600 saves. And more big news on the media side. USL announcing a multi-year agreement with ESPN International for the USL Championship and League One that will air on ESPN networks across Latin America. So scores from around the league here tonight. That Hartford goal has continued to hold up in that matchup against Oakland. It was Marlon Hairston scoring in the 20th minute, having the advantage in that matchup. North Carolina getting that early goal, and then, as I mentioned, the 2 goals for Charleston. Juan David Torres in the 5th minute, Mark Annick in the 37th. Have the Battery out in front at halftime. Some games of note later on this evening. Monterey Bay, Orange County will be a valuable one for Tulsa fans. And here is the upcoming slate for Rhode Island, and it does not get any easier after this. Always challenged to go to San Antonio despite their position on the league table, and you know they'll be desperate with a few games to go trying to get into the postseason. than home matches against Tampa and Loudoun. Charleston very easily could be battling for the top spot in the Players' Shield by that point in the season on October 19th, and then they wrap it all up at home against Miami in a match that could decide the postseason fate for Cano Smith's crew. It's halftime here in Rhode Island, and it's a 1-0 advantage for FC Tulsa. When we return, we recap the first half with highlights and stats. Then we'll kick it off for half number 2 when we return here to Smithfield, Rhode Island.
Hey Providence, we're Breeze Airways, and we offer non-stop flights from Rhode Island's T.F. Green International Airport. We're redefining what it means to fly up front. This one's for you. Introducing Breeze Ascent, the newest, nicest way to fly. It's seriously comfortable, satisfying, and affordable. Book today at flybreeze.com and experience the nicest way to travel. Breeze Airways, seriously nice.
At Ortho Rhode Island, we've built the future of orthopedic care around an important foundation, you. Our experienced surgeons and specialists offer the full spectrum of orthopedic care with leading-edge treatments and technology and a one-of-a-kind patient experience. From diagnosis to outpatient surgery, physical and occupational therapy, acute injury care, and advanced imaging, we make you the cornerstone of innovative care. To learn more or schedule an appointment, visit orthopedicsri.com.
At Centerville Bank, we're rooting for your progress. From the everyday moments to the challenges you overcome, the little victories, and the big wins. Because your progress is our purpose. Centerville Bank, progress on purpose.
When you make your play and things just go your way, that's a good play.
Since 1974, the Rhode Island Lottery has been a good play, awarding more than $57 billion to winning players, over $6 billion in commissions to local businesses, and over $8.8 billion to the general fund, supporting all of Rhode Island.
It's a really good play that can make your day.
The Rhode Island Lottery, a good play for Rhode Island for 50 years and counting.
We're back to rainy Rhode Island for this matchup tonight. The inaugural meeting between Rhode Island and FC Tulsa here this evening. FC Tulsa leads at 1-0. Michael and Chris back with you as we get ready to look at the highlights from half number 1 of this contest. And there wasn't much at the beginning, but Aaron Beboot found some space, and a man that has been challenged to score more goals scores a beauty.
Yeah, it's a great first touch. A bad giveaway in the middle of the part here, but sets him over the top of his first touch with his right foot. And that's an absolutely astounding finish of his left foot into the corner. Gives Coco Vega zero chance. Puts his team in the lead 1-0 very early in the first half.
Beboot scores for the second time this season in a Tulsa kit. A man that had been a great goal scorer in MLS Next Pro the last 2 years. So Tulsa celebrates. They score first for the 10th time this season. And then there's this chance in the 36th minute for Rhode Island. A good work around the park, and Quizera had his shot saved in the end. Johan Penaranda didn't have to do a whole lot in the first half.
Yeah, and this speaks to the opportunities that Rhode Island had in his first half. Quizera, from distance, completely scuffs his shot. Doesn't really get any venom on it. Not too threatening for the Tulsa defense.
And then right at the very end, this corner kick that nearly caught Vegas by surprise.
Could have ended up in the back of the net without anybody touching it. A little bit sharper in the reactions, and Tulsa could have got their second goal, but great save in the end. Stops Rhode Island from going down 2-0 just before halftime.
Rhode Island did not officially attempt a shot in the final 35 minutes of the first half. They settled for just 3. Rhode Island came along there at the end of that first half. How do they unlock more of an attack in half 2?
Yeah, in contrast to last week's game against Orange County, where Rhode Island did create a number of chances, but maybe unfortunate not to score goals. In this game, they've not created many chances at all. The chances they had created have kind of been half chances with shots from distance, penalty claims. They've not been able to unlock the attack. As we've spoken about, if they're able to adjust their formation, get Quizera higher, Williams hasn't been that threatening in front of goal. He has been involved with some link-up play. I think this is a game where Dequa can pose a different type of threat and really expose this FC Tulsa defense. I think they have to change things around. One of their strengths has been, as we mentioned in the second half, the substitutes that are able to win this game that has been more dynamic, has changed the energy and been able to kill off games. So it's going to be interesting to see if Cano Smith makes substitutions at halftime or if he goes in around the 60-minute mark that we're accustomed to seeing.
And this is the outlook of the Eastern Conference as it sits right now, with North Carolina and Hartford both winning. It is a tight battle right now. Loudoun will play tomorrow at New Mexico. That is a challenge for Loudoun. Everybody will be keeping an eye on that one. Pittsburgh, no match this weekend in the USL Championship. So this is how things sit as it stands. What a difference it is between 6th and 11th right now. 3 points.
And if you
separate
saw
that crew.
Rhode Island and Loudoun still have to play right now. Loudoun have 2 games in hand over Rhode Island, so that's a massive, massive matchup coming up shortly. As we spoke about, Rhode Island's fixtures from here on out are not easy whatsoever until they get to, well, I don't want to say Miami FC at the end of the last game of the season is easy, but their fate could be well determined before that last game of the season.
It's a dangerous platform to think that, hey, we'll just get those 3 points at the end. We got to hold on until that point. Against a Miami side that has really struggled this year and has been eliminated. Here comes Rhode Island in the attack as we start half 2. This poking ball in. Quizera. Penaranda, sure-handed, denies that cross opportunity. And will that be just a taste of what we see from Rhode Island in half 2?
Quizera again delivering those teasing balls into the box, just nobody able to get onto the end of it. But again, most of the good stuff from Rhode Island in attack has come from Quizera. There's just been nobody in the box to finish off the plays.
It is Kids Night here at Burns Stadium in a match that was a sellout this evening. And what a way to build a fan base and to come away with a quality second half of play. Meanwhile, this is an FC Tulsa side that has 4 of its 7 wins on the road. They've been a better road side this year, at least in terms of goal scoring and points. Fuson chases this ball. Penaranda pedaled for a moment and then comes out to grab it.
Panateu tried to thread the needle there with the ball over the top. Quizera was in tons of space on the left-hand side. Opted to go for the run of Fusion, slightly overhit the pass.
Well, Tulsa had struggled to give up goals in that first half. They hold a clean sheet in the opening half here in this one, and a foul whistled on Stoneman. Second half goals have been a huge problem for Rhode Island. They've given up 22 second half goals this year, 4 in the opening 10 minutes of half 2. So keep an eye on that here in this one.
What's pretty interesting is that both of these teams have conceded a similar number of goals this season. Rhode Island have conceded 37 goals, Tulsa have conceded 39 goals. What does go in favor of Rhode Island is that they've scored 39, whereas Tulsa have only scored 28. So Rhode Island right now sitting goal differential of +2, whereas Tulsa sitting goal differential of -11.
Foul whistle.
Of the 28 games so far this season, Tulsa have only been able to keep clean sheets on 7 occasions. So on 21 occasions, the opponents have managed to score. If they're able to keep a clean sheet tonight against Rhode Island, obviously it'll be their 8th clean sheet of the season. But as we mentioned, it's going to be a tough challenge in this second half. The likes of Dequa and Doyle, who are able to come in off the bench and impact this game.
Last win for Tulsa was a 1-0 victory. That was on the road against Detroit on August 24th. Since that point, 3 losses and a draw. Will Rhode Island be able to sneak something out of this? Good space for Holstead. Holstead stampedes. Holstead launches. Penaranda punches all the way out. Ibarra through. Penaranda denies once more, and it's a offside flag denying this chance.
Two great efforts here for Rhode Island to take the lead. Shot from distance here from Holstead. Forces a big save. The follow-up, Williams is just inches away from the follow-up here. Another strike here from Ibarra, parried away. And Fuson just offside for the rebound here. But this is you need somebody in the box with that striker's instinct who's just in the right place at the right time where the ball falls to for those rebounds. Two huge saves there.
Rhode Island put Johan Penaranda on notice. Over 60 saves now for the campaign for Penaranda. But here's an attack. Dancing, it is J.J. Williams. Wide left.
Another great opportunity in there in the opening 5 minutes of this second half for Rhode Island to get themselves on the score sheet. This was probably the best of the ones they had inside the box. Williams needs to guide this on target. Minimum is on his weaker left foot, but at least should be forcing the goalkeeper to make a save from this effort. The layoff was at the right tempo, at the right pace, his momentum was coming forward. Just completely mistimes his strike.
Fuson pivots. Fuson, eyes up. Leaves it back. Pizarro is the target. It gets sent away.
Rhode Island have started this second half at a fierce tempo, putting this Tulsa backline under immense pressure.
Smith looks on, sensing his group starting to shift the table just a little bit. Segrist. Diallo chases. Aravo swings it back. Vegas resets.
One thing Mario Sanchez said that the team focused
on the turnover. Batash in. Joseph swings it. Recycle here. Joseph charges around. Batash just enough on that to keep it alive. Foul whistled as Holstead goes down.
One thing that Mario Sanchez said that the team focused on this week was being cleaner and more active off the ball. In terms of, he wanted to see his players making more runs in behind the defense of Rhode Island.
That's a good maneuver by Quizera. He does come back to it. Off of the ping pong. And another corner kick coming up. Rhode Island really starting to assert their attacking presence.
Very offensively active first half of both of these teams. A little bit of ping pong in there in the box. Quizera again, dangerous, but it's good defending to shut down the cross. Corner kick coming up for Rhode Island.
A Hill group corner. Ibarra lines this ball up into a dangerous location. Yao got a piece. And now we do get a whistle in the end with a man down inside of the 6-yard box.
Not quite sure how this stays out of the back of the net. Another great delivery into the box. Yao wins the header. Somehow it's blocked on the line. Denies Rhode Island the equalizer. Looks like it actually hits Joseph. Joseph looks like he's already on the way down before the ball is even delivered, and the header from Yao hits Joseph as he's on the way down and stays out the back of the net. Rhode Island banging on the door at the beginning of the second half.
So they do end up calling it there, and it will be a drop ball to restart play. Rhode Island FC is now accepting priority deposits for the 2025 season at their new stadium. Scan the QR code or go to rhodeislandfc.com to secure your seat now. Joseph. He was the last man to touch it. Different type of mindset from Rhode Island here in half two. Unbeaten in their last 6 at home. They've outscored teams 14-6 in that window. Haven't been able to find a goal. They've gone 5 consecutive halves now without a goal. Panayotu slams on the brakes. Fuson does well. Quizera. Fuson swings it around. Williams' shot blocked by Bourgeois. Comes back out. Haribo. Olstead goes down easily in the 18, but FC Tulsa's back line is under a great deal of duress.
Rhode Island just lacking a little bit of quality and composure in the final third. They got the pressure on, but they're just lacking that killer moment to get themselves back into the game. The chances are there, the opportunities are there, players are in the right positions.
Fuson. Quizera arcs this ball in. Nice hit. Fuson watches it out. Nervy defending from FC Tulsa. Can Rhode Island punish the visitors here tonight? Panayotu commits the foul.
And it was interesting, the question that you asked Cano Smith this week, that if that he knew that he was going to be going into the last 6 games of the season with the playoff positions in control of his own destiny, how happy would he have been? And you know, he said you can ask any team in the league if you're going into the last 6 games and you have the opportunity in your own hands to make the playoffs, especially in your first year in existence as a USL Championship side, they'll be ecstatic. And that's the situation that they find themselves in. I think he probably would have reminded the team that at half-time and said, hey, this is in our own hands. If we have true aspirations of making the playoffs, we have to be able to beat Tulsa, because the next game's coming. Charleston, Tampa, Loudoun. They don't get any easier. So they have to be able to handle this one and be able to step it up for the future games also. And this is a test of character. They're behind in this game. Can they turn it around in the remaining 35 minutes?
Fuson launches! Does that stay wide, and Penaranda not get a touch?
Painfully wide of the upright, not far away at all. Fuson does well to get this ball down under control. Panayotu sets him in behind and he sizes up defender, switches onto his left foot, tries to drill it into the far corner, inches wide of the upright. Rhode Island still trail by 1.
Here's this look. Look at how close that one was. Just wide. Feel the heartbeat of Rhode Island FC with RIFC Pulse. Scan the QR code or text 401-249-4857 to stay in the loop on all things Rhode Island FC with text alerts. So it's a booking for Penaranda, and that is an interesting time for a keeper to get a yellow card for time wasting.
It's so funny that he gets a yellow card for time wasting. I was literally discussing this topic today with some coaches, that if the 6-second rule is even in existence anymore, because goalkeepers really don't pay attention to it. And then in this game, it's the first time I've seen a keeper yellow carded for taking longer than 6 seconds in a long while.
Certainly carded before stoppage time, or even late in a match, to have it happen with 30+ minutes to go. That is surprising, and Penaranda gives away his one lifeline of time wasting here in the 57th minute.
Many referees do not enforce the 6-second rule. They know they have their stopwatches, but goalkeepers take 10, 15 seconds and they still don't reprimand them or sometimes even speed them up unless you're in the last 15 minutes of game, and it's very clear that it's obvious that they're time wasting, but there shouldn't be any difference in the rules in the first 15 minutes to the last minutes. They should be consistent. If it's a rule, then they're going to hold goalkeepers accountable to it. I like it because the goalkeeper has to get the ball into play. They have to put it down. They have to make quicker decisions. When they slow it down, you know, they have more time to make decisions. The defense has more time to get set up. They have more time to make their play. When the goalkeeper has to get it back within 6 seconds, all that has to happen is so much quicker.
Quizera It's across, Dom. Debates his choices. Quizera, Harivo, arcs it through. Williams heads. Yosef's clearance bangs off of a body. Williams flicks it on. Fuson. Lines up Quizera again.
Looked like Fuson was about to line up something acrobatic there.
I thought he was going for the bicycle kick.
Tulsa doing a great job of defending well and absorbing this pressure. 8 bodies in the box. Still a very long time to play. You wonder how long they can defend in this manner.
Zara charges. Booth has to chop it out. Corner kicks, amplifying the danger here.
The energy is definitely decreasing for Tulsa. They're under significant pressure right now. But they're defending well, but I think it's only a matter of time before this pressure cracks. They're going to have to be extremely dynamic on the counter-attack.
Marky Barra have another go here. Former Michigan Wolverine. 2 years with the Riverhounds. Now curling this ball around. Tash sends it away.
The deliveries from corner kicks from both teams have been great. Just nobody timing their runs and attacking the balls at the right moments.
Instead, launches this ball in. It skims all the way over, and Penaranda now will be able to take a few seconds while everybody eyes him.
We're now approaching that moment in the game when you start to see the substitutions. 30 minutes remaining. Inevitably, some fresh bodies, some fresh legs for Rhode Island will be coming into the game, and it'll be interesting to see whether Tulsa makes some changes to try and secure this lead. We've already highlighted numerous times they're not a team that generally scores more than 1 goal in games.
Penayotu swings this ball in. Penaranda nearly ran into Owen Dobb. That is a fortuitous moment there. If you're FC Tulsa, it could have been a catastrophe. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Plus, hear live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the new Sirius XM app. Here's a rare forage into the attack.
I expect we may see 2 different styles of changes for these teams. For Rhode Island, I expect to see more offensive changes, given that there's still a goal down at home. They need to get themselves back into the game. For Tulsa, I think we'll see more defensive changes, some fresh legs who could potentially provide a little bit more stability and structure going into these final 30 minutes and help them out defensively.
Hartford has opened up a 2-0 advantage. Getting a second goal from Kyle Edwards against Oakland, so good news for Tulsa if they want to try to pull back on the Western Conference table. Bad news for Eastern Conference teams at the bottom, including Rhode Island. Meanwhile, Charleston has added a 3rd goal. And it's Marcanic for a 2nd time, so he wastes no time to get some separation. Incredible. Fuson dances. Fuson swings this ball and it hits the crossbar. Stays in play. Penaranda knew nothing of that.
I'm not sure Fuson knew much about it either. I think he went for the cross there and just slightly mishit it and almost ended up finding his way into the top corner.
Now Fuson commits the foul after the fact.
It would have been some goal had that found its way into the back of the net, but great opportunity to just get half a yard of space to open it up. Plush off the front of the crossbar. I'm not sure whether he was aiming for Williams or actually aiming to beat the keeper there into the far corner. Either way, Rhode Island continue banging on the door. 2nd time they've hit the crossbar tonight.
Fuson right through the back of Sawahi, who still is laying on his front side, looking for some medical attention here. And precious seconds bleed off of the clock for Rhode Island, but more importantly, we hope that Swahi's okay, but More importantly, Tulsa gets a chance to breathe for a minute.
Yeah, exactly that. I think that while Shahi's down, maybe he's injured, maybe he's using it as a moment to kind of kill some time, kill the momentum of Rhode Island, because since the beginning of this second half, FC Tulsa have been under significant pressure. Rhode Island have been turning up the heat, attack after attack after attack. And we spoke about this being the time of the game where there's substitutions, and exactly that. Into the game comes Dikwa for Panayotu. And we know the threat that this guy poses in the offense. You now have Dikwa and Williams on the field. Normally it's one or the other, very rarely both at the same time, but now the double threat in offense is here.
Dikwa replaces Panayotu, as well as Mark Ibarra comes out and Stephen Turnbull comes in. So Ibarra, a magician on those corner kicks. That has been lethal as well, comes out. Now, trio of changes for Tulsa. Arthur Rogers comes into the match for the first time since May 11th. Sebastian Sanchez comes onto the field as well. It's going to be Dom and Diallo making way. Diallo came on as a change earlier in this match, replacing Edwin Lazo when he was hurt 22 minutes in.
He did pick up a yellow card, so you wonder if that comes into decision-making.
Matthew Bell is the other change, replacing Stojanovic, who was quiet tonight.
At this stage of the season, where so much is at stake, you just had to stomach the manager's decision. As a player, you never want to come on as a substitute and then be substituted back off in the same game. Players can be very, rightfully so, selfish-minded. You want to be out there, you want to perform, you want the opportunity to shine, and you know, maybe you don't start the game, you're disappointed, you get into the game, it's your moment, and then you end up coming back out of the game. Can sometimes be a little bit difficult for the individual to stomach, but obviously the coach has an objective to try and win the game and get 3 points tonight, and if he feels like he needs to make a change that can do that, he has to sometimes sacrifice the emotional sentiment in order to get the job done.
You don't want to leave anything in the hands of the officials. Granted, Adam Kilpatrick has not given out a red card in any of his 10 matches that he's officiated this season. Arthur Rogers has missed the last 19 matches of the season. The 27-year-old from London played 62 minutes against Pittsburgh back on May 11th, so he makes his return to the pitch for Tulsa. Follow at Rhode Island FC on Instagram, TikTok, X, and Facebook to stay up to date with everything RIFC. Ball goes out.
Rhode Island really need to get on the score sheet in this game. If they lose this game, that's 9 points on the spin that they would have dropped. They've been in 3 games lost on the drop. They would really be trending in the wrong direction at a key moment in the season.
Hartford has joined Rhode Island and Loudoun with 37 points. North Carolina at 36, Pittsburgh at 35. And as you mentioned, Rhode Island, 2 more games played than Loudoun. Loudoun plays tomorrow. So there could be a scenario where by this time next week, Rhode Island could be out of the playoff mix for the time being. Dikwa takes over. Williams launches it across.
It's a poor pass there from Williams. It's got to go in front. He's killed the momentum by playing that ball behind Quizera. They had the advantage. Body's running forward. Just needed a little bit more care in the pass.
It's Rogers that intercepts that pass from Quizera. Although Quizera gets back to it. Fuson is on. Fuson trots in. Fuson hits the side of the net. He tried to chip one from that distance earlier. This time, a laser beam hits the right side of the net. Rhode Island finally busts the door down. One apiece here in the 69th minute.
We highlighted Fuson pre-game as the man to watch, and he comes up absolutely massive in this moment. Assist from Quizera
so much time and space inside the box to pick his corner, and he does exactly that with precision, accuracy, and quality. Fusion gets Rhode Island back on level pegging in this game, 1-1. We're in for a very exciting closing 22 minutes in this game.
Fusion's 5th goal of the year, his first since July 17th, comes in a major spot. We were wondering when Rhode Island would finally get that last bit of quality, and they do get it after 25 minutes here at half 2.
And for our FC Tulsa team that have defended so well for long periods in this game, Fusion was just left with so much time in the box to take his touch, to drive forward, to pick his corner, and he punished them exactly in the way he should. If you're going to allow him that much time, that much space inside your 18-yard box, you can expect nothing more than to be punished. And Fusion did not let them down on this moment.
Fusion, 5 goals, 6 assists. And here in the 70th minute, 1 apiece. B Boot in the 8th, Fusion in the 69th. And with 20 minutes to go, will we have a winner here tonight? Michael Watring and Chris Nurse with you.
We spoke about Rhode Island's strength in their depth in the bench and how they've been getting stronger.
Here's a good maneuver. Deekwa is denied by Penaranda.
I can understand Deekwa going for goal there, but I thought there was an opportunity to lay it off for Williams, who may have been in a better position. You come off the bench, you want to get yourself on the score sheet, you want to impact. He's done ever so well to beat the defender, but I think the opportunity was there to lay it off, get the go-ahead goal.
Fans that have braved the weather here tonight, temperatures in the 50s and rainy, have seen a resilient group come through yet again. Fusion laces it over. Quizera swings this ball and it gets bounced back. Rhode Island looking for more than just a draw out of this matchup.
Yeah, and I think this second half has been a dominant performance from Rhode Island. Not sure where it was in the first half. It was almost like a different team that showed up in the second half. But this is more of what we saw last week against Orange County. Opportunity after opportunity after opportunity against Orange County. They didn't find the back of the net. Tonight, Fusion's come up big in a key moment and got his team back level pegging.
Fusion takes the corner. All the way out through this hazy sky. Ball trickles past 2. On the Turnbull gets it back from Stoneman. Turnbull lofts it in. Darcy was giving it a go. Sawaki as well. It's another corner kick. Rhode Island is up to now 6 corners in the match. And a chance off of a restart to gain their first lead of the night. The goal in this one snaps a 249-minute scoreless string for Rhode Island, their first goal since August 31st when they last won a match.
Koke Vegas was under significant pressure in the first half, with FC Tulsa challenging him. In this second half, I don't think he's had very much to do whatsoever. I think he's probably spectating the game similar to as we are right now.
Tulsa haven't had an official shot logged, according to our stats, since the 17th minute. I'm not sure how much time there has been spent by Tulsa on the attacking half of the field in the second half. Quizera swings this ball in. It hits the crossbar.
For the 3rd time tonight.
Fusion slides it back. Turnbull. Fusion. Leave him alone. Here's this ball swung around. Yao was able to get ahead to it, but backpedaling, falling away. Unable to put it on frame.
Yeah, that ball into the box, another dangerous delivery, just a little bit too high for Yao. He's backpedaling, unable to get any forward momentum to guide it towards goal. But significantly sustained pressure here from Rhode Island.
Fusion's goal brought to you by Capelli Sport. This season is a tire tonight. Fusion, it is Deekwa in space. Albert Dikwa, hefty on the touch. Petaranda smothers.
And we've seen that a few times this season. Dikwa makes great runs, great movement. Just that final touch sometimes can be a little bit too heavy and loses the opportunity because of it. Everything is beautiful. Fusion again providing the opportunity. Good movement from Dikwa, but that first touch is just too heavy. The ball gets away from him. Petaranda is able to come out and claim that ball fairly easily, but Dikwa's had a couple of opportunities since he's come into the game to get himself on the score sheet. Just that crucial final moment has let him down.
You do wonder how much of the field plays a little bit into this one with the rain in it. We knew that this field might play a little bit of a factor tonight.
But you can already see the different threats that Williams and Dikwa poses. Dikwa consistently making runs in behind this Tulsa defense, whereas Williams is more of a post-up striker.
Fuson, back post, Dikwa whiffs on it. Corner kick yet again.
Dikwa
nearly ran into Turnbull.
Dikwa consistently finding himself in the right areas. Everything now, it's like the ball is a magnet to him. He just needs to have the composure and the quality to finish it off.
Mizera is ready with corner kick number 7 of the evening. Mizera sends this in. Petaranda punched at it, but the foul is whistled. As we collect our breaths, gives us a chance to remind you that eFootball 2024 is here. Live your team, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download it now.
Leading the game, number 9, J.J. Williams. Entering the game, number 14, Mark
Mark
Doyle.
Doyle replaces J.J. Williams. Williams put in a good shift, but will leave without a goal. Meanwhile, it'll be Mark Doyle, 25-year-old from Ireland, who has scored twice this year coming onto the pitch. There's a rare charge. Bell runs into Nadarse.
One of the rare times we've seen FC Tulsa in their attacking half in this second half.
Rogers swings it all the way around. Joseph doesn't get enough on it. Sent down the field where Bourgeois settles. The atmosphere has changed as well here for the fans. Batash swings this one around. Bibu was probably the target, but it's over his head. And now here we go with Rhode Island. Mario Sanchez said transitional moments would be a key to this one tonight. Fuson arcs this ball. Bourgeois nods it down. Now it's Andrew Booth. Booth chops this over. Batash too heavy on it. Yao pokes it away. And an attacking restart here for Tulsa. Very much a lifeline for a team that has not attempted a shot in an hour.
Yeah, and in reflection, a point isn't necessarily a bad result for either of these teams. If you're looking at Tulsa, they haven't won a game since August the 24th against Detroit. They've tied and lost in their game since then. So a point isn't a bad result for them. As I spoke about Rhode Island, they've lost their past 2. So a point also wouldn't be a bad step for them either.
Vegas catches this, launches it down the field. Fuson was the target, but Segrist was over there.
Given the recent form of both of these teams, a point is better than 0 points at this stage for both of them. But given what's at stake for them in the bigger picture, of course, both are striving to get all 3 tonight.
Everything is tight, right around the playoff lines, with anywhere from 5 to 7 matches to go in the year, depending on the team. Harivo slices this one through. Turnbull Segrist knocks it away, and it bounces off of Turnbull. Goal kick.
Brilliant defending there from Segrist. It's always better to stop the cross than to have to defend the cross in the box, and he does a great job there of getting out, timing his tackle well against Turnbull, denying him the service into the box.
Tulsa haven't scored multiple goals in a match since August 14th. And Mario Sanchez spoke about that as Josef commits the foul on Turnbull. That there are young players up front. They want to be more active in the final third. The mentality has been great. They need to be more decisive when they have those chances. And tonight, goal will not be enough to get a win, and it might not be enough to get a result with Howe. Rhode Island has flexed here with 10 minutes to go, tied at 1. Vibu to open it for Tulsa in the 8th minute. Fuson equalized in the 69th.
Yeah, I think the energy for Tulsa has just dropped significantly. They're not pressing as aggressively, not pressing as collectively as they were in the first half, and it's allowing Rhode Island a lot of time and space on the ball, and they're making them pay because of that. They're now finding dangerous areas. They're finding players in time and space in the box. A moment from Fuson of quality converted, but there's been many opportunities that they've now had in this second half to score multiple times that they did not have in the first half.
3 match mini plans are now available. Secure your seat to 3 of Rhode Island FC's biggest matches this year and get priority access to 2025 season tickets. Scan the QR code or go to rhodeislandfc.com. That Loudon match amplifies by the minute. How important that one could be. There could be one spot between those two. Dequa chips this. Doyle turns. He was offside. RIFC family 4-packs are now available. 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 drinks, and 4 times the fun for just $20 per person. Visit rhodeislandfc.com/tickets to learn more. Rhode Island has 1 win when they've trailed at halftime. Meanwhile, it's an unbeaten run of 8 in a row for Tulsa when leading at the break. Holds that for a minute. Now Matthew Bell, former member of Real Monarchs. The tash too heavy on it.
It does look like Rhode Island might have changed formations to a 4-2-3-1 formation. Definitely looks like Quizera is occupying higher positions.
Stoneman is going to come out of the match, and he's going to be replaced by Joe Brito, the 25-year-old midfielder. Replaces Stoneman to get another midfielder on the field.
Definitely some tactical changes there. Brito letting Herivo know what they want him to do for these remaining 10 minutes of the game.
Josef able to hold on to that ball. Yao through the middle. Well, the last 5 to 10 minutes of matches for Rhode Island all year have been ones where you have wanted to sit down in your seat and fixate on your television set. They've given up 8 goals after the 85th minute this year, and they've scored 7 second-half stoppage time goals. So perhaps more fireworks to come in this one. Rito gets shoved out, no foul. Segrist, Patrick Segrist launches, Penaranda pushes it away. First shot attempt since the 17th minute for FC Tulsa.
Okay, Vegas with a big save there to keep his team in the game. Segrist just allowed the time and space to drive forward and get this ball out his feet. Tries to drill it into the far corner. Koke Vegas was positioned well to deal with it. No, Darcy picks up the second ball.
Vegas' second save of the night. Instead, flies it over the left channel. Fuson. It is Herivo on the overlap. Herivo glides it through. Quizera lines it up. Doyle, Quizera. Maybe one too many passes that time around, but Turnbull's back on it. Steven Turnbull off the backside. Quizera turns. Here's Fuson. Noah Fuson curls it back post. Penaranda yet again stops this chance.
Fuson at the far post. There was so much time and space again, picking his corner for the far post, and it wasn't far away. Again, great first touch, sets himself again, drills it towards the far post, and Penaranda comes up big with the save, but the defending is poor. There's nobody getting out to close down Fuson and putting him under pressure. He has so much time and space to pick his corner.
A 5-save night for Penaranda.
Rogers should have been the one going out there to close down Fuson. He just tried to stand his ground, actually turned his back as Fuson took the strike.
Another corner, this time Quizera curls this ball in the middle. Bourgeois. Quizera slides this ball around, and Penaranda grabs it in the end. 5 more minutes to go.
Cano Smith's change has definitely had an impact since the substitutions came in the game. Herivo's now in a position where he can make runs forward. We haven't seen him make too many runs forward for the opening 60 minutes, but since Holsted's started to operate a little bit more centrally, it's allowed Herivo to be released and join that attack, making late runs into the box.
Tulsa very much with a vice grip on a draw at this point. Being outshot in the match 17-4. Aaron B. Boots' long-distance goal in the 8th minute started the scoring. Noah Fuson's rocket in the 69th tied it up. It's been all Rhode Island in half 2. And here's Fuson again. Fuson sends it wide. Quizera across, back out, Fuson! How is that ball denied?
Brilliant defending from Tulsa.
That looked like a go-ahead goal for sure. Instead, Herivo, Turnbull, charges forward, Turnbull in. Brito wanted a foul.
I thought there was a strong claim there for a penalty. It looks like Brito gets to the ball first, and there's no way he doesn't get clean contact on this ball unless there's infringement from the defender. Oh, I think it's another tough decision there for the referee. But give Rhode Island credit, they turned it up 3 notches in this second half. But Tulsa holding on, defending exceptionally well. Some absolutely huge tackles.
Number 77, entering the match, number 12, Rashid Tene.
Tulsa makes another change. Rashid Tene comes in. Another defender comes in. It's Matash that comes out. So add a little bit more defensive presence with Tene in. Get rid of a midfielder. So that tells you all you need to know about Mario Sanchez's thoughts here down the stretch.
I think the character of Fuson is a real asset for this team. He's not a luxury striker, he's not a luxury forward. He works hard in both directions. He has quality in possession, he can score goals, he can create, but his tenacity, his mentality, the way that he works in both the attack and both to track back defensively, I think brings a lot of value to the team. Sometimes offensive players, they like to pick up little positions where they don't have to do the defensive work, but I think Fuson is so effective in both aspects of the game that very important player for this Rhode Island team.
The USL Championship is on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN+. Go to USLChampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings. B-Boot unable to hold it down. 2 minutes plus stoppage time to go. Bourgeois works out well. Joseph pivots. No foul. He wanted one as he split 2. Rhode Island going for the win, as you would expect. Unbeaten in their last 6 at home. Dequa. Doyle unable to hold on to it. Holstead. Quizera. Here's the man that has caused all sorts of havoc tonight, Fuson.
I think if Rhode Island are unable to run away as winners in this game, you definitely say they lost this game in the first half, where they were not really at the races. In the second half, they've been excellent. But the first half performance wasn't at the standard that you'd expect them to be at. And evidently that could be what lets them down in tonight's game.
Haribo, here's Turnbull. Turnbull, eyes across. It is Dikwa making the charge. Instead, Rogers sends it out to midfield. 90th minute now, tied at 1. Fuson lines this ball up, arcs it. Doyle unable to get a redirect, and it's another pristine effort from Fuson, and Doyle was unable to redirect.
It's a great ball there from Fuson. The vision, the execution, just bounces a tad too early before Doyle's able to get his foot on it. It's a great run in behind from Doyle. Inches away from clinching the go-ahead goal.
Fuson has been the best player on the field in half 2. Will it lead to a go-ahead goal? Michael Wattrain, Chris Nurse with you. Two teams in desperate need of as many points as they can get down the stretch, hovering right around the playoff line. After the weekend, both could be on the outside looking in. And only 5 more minutes of stoppage time. Doyle will get this after Segrist fails to clear. Doyle is called for the foul. Alex Anderson has scored for North Carolina, so it's 2-0 NC over Indy 11. So what that means in the Eastern Conference is North Carolina will have 36 points. And as it stands right now, pending the result of Loudon and New Mexico tomorrow, 37 points will be the 8th spot in the playoffs. Rhode Island with a point tonight would be tied for 6th with Birmingham, with 5 matches to go after tonight for Rhode Island. Meanwhile in the West, FC Tulsa sits in 8th, pending the results of tonight's matches. Fuson charges, Fuson wants the right foot, Fuson wraps it around. They took a redirect on the way through, so it's a corner kick for Rhode Island, their 10th of the night.
Fuson taking the initiative on his own to try and get the shot off here. Didn't see any players in a better position, so just tried to open up and get his strike off, deflected for a corner kick.
Why not give him a chance on this corner kick? There's nobody near him, so he will fly this ball in. Noah Fuson boomerangs this ball all the way back post, backpedaling to head at Doyle. Yao gets a piece. Haribo stumbles. Haribo appeals for a penalty. Dikwa instead lifts this over the top of Penaranda. Albert Dikwa does not miss from that distance. Rhode Island knocked the door off the hinges and lead 2-0 or 2-1.
And you have to give them credit. They deserved it. They've been banging, banging, banging on the door in this second half. And it's Dikwa in the end who comes up with the moment that makes the difference in this game. Could it have been a penalty kick? I think yes, but they didn't need it. Dikwa stayed alive, stayed connected to the plate, took matters into his own hands and slams it into the back of the net to give Rhode Island all 3 points. I was about to say, this is the Rhode Island we're used to. If they're not losing the game, they still find a way to come out with 1 point. But they've done more than that. They've found a way to walk away with all 3. Haribo was on the floor here, still in possession of the ball, asking for the referee to give the PK. Lays it off to Dikwa. And Dikwa says, thank you very much.
It is the 8th stoppage time goal of the season in the second half for Rhode Island. They've only had 3 goals rather, later than 90+2.
When Tulsa took the lead, there was one thing we told you could guarantee, that Rhode Island would find a way to get on the score sheet in this game, and they've done exactly that in the second half. Twice they've gone a score sheet. Where was this Rhode Island in the first half? Goodness knows. But in the second half, this is the team that has been impressive. This is the team that we know had aspirations of making the playoffs. And they've now gone on and got a great result which reaffirms their confidence, their hope, and their belief that they can make the playoffs. I think had they not got the 3 points tonight, with the remaining games that they have, it would have been a lot harder mentally to believe that they could have gone all the way. I think this gives them rejuvenated hope, rejuvenated energy, rejuvenated mentality. It's a much-needed spark that they need going into the remaining 5 games.
Doyle gets a little tug of the jersey, gives it over to Fuson and Quizera. Well, as it sits right now, and what a difference about an hour of real time makes. We were thinking that Rhode Island perhaps might be out of the playoff line, depending how this weekend would result. Instead, they are now sitting in a tie for 5th with Indy 11 and 2 points behind Detroit for the number 4 spot and perhaps a home playoff match. Meanwhile, for FC Tulsa, they sit in a 3-way tie for 8th in the West. Orange County is at Monterey Bay tonight. San Antonio is at Phoenix. So perhaps Tulsa could be sitting in 11th tonight, depending on how things shake out in the Western Conference, instead of being back above the playoff line.
And I think the tactical adjustments from Cano Smith has a big impact on the game. First half, Holstead was operating on the right, then he's come central. Second half, Herivo's been able to make more runs forward. Dequa's come on, obviously had a tremendous impact. Doyle's come on and been dangerous in the attack, and that's where Rhode Island have had strength throughout the season. In the second half of the game, into the final third of the game, the substitutions, the tactical changes have had a huge impact. And again tonight, Cano Smith has got his changes and his decisions right going into the final phases of the game.
Tulsa have had 4 shots in the match, only 1 in the second half. Just cannot get the ball out of their own end. Dequa alertly, the reigning player of the year in the league, goes to the corner flag and wins his team a corner. Can pretty much put the game on ice now.
The fans who braved the weather tonight have been much rewarded with the 3 points. Took a little bit of time to come, but Cano Smith said he wants the identity of his team to be a team that never gives up. Getting the equalizer goal, or the go-ahead goal, sorry, deep into stoppage time is definitely a team that never gives up. Rhode Island keep their playoff aspirations much alive with this 3 points tonight.
And there's the full-time whistle. It's unbeaten in 7 in a row at home for Rhode Island. And a resilient group from the Ocean State comes back from 1-0 down at the half to win it 2-1. Fuson's equalizer in the 69th, and Dequa's game winner in the 2nd minute of stoppage time. Fuson is our man of the match tonight. Boy, did he have an impact in half 2.
Yeah, he was fantastic from start to finish. Even in the first half, when the team wasn't performing so well, I thought Fuson was still having a very good individual performance, and he came up in the moments when his team needed it most. That goal, the equalizing goal we get, changed the momentum of the game. It was a moment of quality, a moment of brilliance, a moment of composure. He was the player in the attack that was really making things happen. His connection with Quizera on the left-hand side was phenomenal throughout the course of the game. I think he demonstrates a lot of the attributes that Rhode Island summarize in their values as a team.
Final score presented by High Bar Physical Therapy, the official physical therapy partner of RIFC. Visit highbarhealth.com today to begin your journey to feeling better, moving freely, and living fully. 2-1, Rhode Island wins it. We recap it when we return.
You're right, Luke. Miller Lite is less filling and tastes great.
Wait, is this a dream?
No, Luke. This is Miller Lite commercial.
When you make your play and things just go your way, that's a good play.
Since 1974, the Rhode Island Lottery has been a good play, awarding more than $57 billion to winning players, over $6 billion in commissions to local businesses, and over $8.8 billion to the general fund, supporting all of Rhode Island.
It's a really good play that can make your day.
The Rhode Island Lottery, a good play for Rhode Island for 50 years and counting.
Hey Providence, we're Breeze Airways, and we offer non-stop flights from Rhode Island's T.F. Green International Airport. We're redefining what it means to fly up front. This one's for you. Introducing Breeze Ascent, the newest, nicest way to fly. It's seriously comfortable, satisfying, and affordable. Book today at flybreeze.com and experience the nicest way to travel. Breeze Airways, seriously nice.
It is good. The Miller Lights win the big game.
You're right, Luke. Miller Lite is less filling and tastes great.
Wait, is this a dream?
No, Luke. This is a Miller Lite commercial.
On a night that began with rain and cold, also started with an opener from the visitors. Aaron Bibu, what a finish in the 8th minute.
Great finish from Bibu. The first touch sets him up. The composure, the accuracy in the second touch with his left foot. You can tell by Koke's reaction, it's not a goal he's disappointed. He wasn't going to get close to that anyway.
Rhode Island was dominant in the second half. Noah Fuson had so many chances, but this one curled around the defense and picked out a side pocket.
From a very difficult angle here, Fuson, so much time and space in the box, picks his corner, wraps it into the side netting. Great finish to get his side on 1-1 level pegging as we approach the final stages of the second half.
And now it brings us to our save of the match presented by Centerville Bank. Make progress towards your goals with Centerville Bank, official bank partner of Rhode Island FC. Patrick Segrist in the 83rd minute. The first shot by Tulsa in 66 minutes. Tested Vegas, but he responded with one of his 3 saves tonight.
Segrist did well to read it, intercept the ball, but Vegas was well positioned. Parries this one off to Nidase, clears it away from danger.
And now our energy play of the match presented by Rhode Island Energy. Look at all the hustle in the box, the amount of bodies that touched it, and then Dequal was just waiting, and pushing it in.
Herreville thought he was wrestled to the ground, but he'd be grateful that Dequal was positioned right next to him, lays it off. Dequal buries it into the back of the net to give Rhode Island the 2-1 win at the final whistle.
Herreville, the workmanlike effort from his backside. Nobody shuts the door down. Dequal scores for the 8th time this season. And Rhode Island are firmly right back into the spot. A roller coaster of emotions, but tied for 5th.
Yeah, they give themselves just a little bit of breathing distance now between the teams below them. As we mentioned, Loudon have 2 games in hand. Birmingham have a game in hand. Things will change over the course of the weekend as the games are played out. But they're now trending in the right direction. After coming off 2 losses, they get themselves back 3 points at home. They show a little bit of adversity in their character to come back from behind, but they need to provide more of that second half performance from the first whistle. They can't afford to have 45 minutes like they did in the first half tonight.
Meanwhile, Tulsa goes a 7th consecutive match with 1 or fewer goals. Rhode Island unbeaten in their last 7 at home. 9th win of this campaign and a 2-1 victory tonight for Rhode Island. Fuson and Dequal combine to give the home side something to celebrate on Kids Night. For my partner tonight, Chris Nurse, and our entire crew, I'm Michael Watrang signing off. Thanks so much for watching. Good night, everybody.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.